Shalom, Yasharala Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Racha Kwadash, double honors to the apostles who are the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, precious, you hopeful elect, okay? All right, we're going to start in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 28, and it reads, Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord Yahweh. All right. And who do you think this law was for? All right. This law was for the children of Israel. All right. Going all the way back to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob is the one who the Lord surnamed Israel, Yasher Allah in the Hebrew. He's the prince of the power. Israel went on to have 12 sons known as the 12 tribes of Israel. And those 12 tribes of Israel still exist today. We are a hidden people. We are under false names. Okay. Paperclip names, I like to call them. The scriptures call them bywords in Deuteronomy 28:37. Okay. And those 12 tribes of Israel are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are one nation of people, not separate. Okay. You are one nation of people. And these laws, these statutes and commandments were all set up for you Israelites. All right. Even down to the dietary law. They were all set up for the Israelites, not the other nations. The only time it comes into play for the other nations is going to be once the kingdom of heaven is established. But on this side of life, from ancient times, the laws, statutes, commandments, and the ordinances of the Lord were set up for the Israelites only. All right, let's read it one more time. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord Yahweh. All right, and we'll back up what we're reading in Deuteronomy, the 15th chapter. All right, we're going to get into it just a little bit. So we're going to grab the Strongs, all right? I'm going to go down to verse 12. Okay, and it really reads, it says, And if thy brother, an Hebrew man, Hebrew Israelite, an Hebrew man, or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty, okay? Because that's not how we treated one another, all right? We were always governing ourselves very well and always looking out for one another, all right? Whether it be a stranger or one who you were used to seeing on a daily basis that always lived near you, all right? We always dealt well with one another, okay? Like these heathens, when they take captives, all right, they treat the ones that they have taken captives, slaves under them, or whatever the case, however you want to, pull it. Treat them very harshly, especially the Romans, all right, the Edomites, all right, which is the so-called white man, all right, the red men of the earth, the biblical Edomites, okay? But our people were not like that with one another, okay? If one worked under another, that servant was treated very well, and he'll, after that time is served, he would have the choice to leave his master or stay, which is what we're going to read when we continue on, all right? It says, verse 13 says, And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, of that wherewith the Lord Yahweh thy power had blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. All right, and that's no different from what he did for us as a whole when we came out of Egypt. We came out with what? Great substance, okay? And we are to do, and then there's scriptures that the Lord is repetitive. And he says, because remember that you were a slave in Egypt or a stranger in Egypt. All right, just roughly paraphrasing. He says that often. Okay, reminding that you are to govern yourselves in a certain way, because remember, you were also a stranger in a strange land at once. So, remember, and then this is no different. If you want to pull a parallel, it's no different from my captivity now. Learning the evil side of life, learning how much worse life is when the Lord is not dealing with us versus how well it can be when he is dealing with us, which actually drives you over to Deuteronomy 28 chapter, the blessings and the curses, okay? So continuing on, it says, verse 15 says, And thou shalt remember that, you see, there we go, case in point. I didn't expect that scripture to be right there, but hey, there we go. That's the spirit. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt. You see, you can't make it up. There you go. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. All right. All right. So remember how it was for you. All right. It was harsh for you. So don't do that way, to another, which particularly he was talking about your own brethren. All right. If you were this way and you felt that type of way under the Egyptians, what more than your own brethren? Right. How would that make you look? How would that make you feel, or should make you feel, to be oppressive to your own brother who came out of Egypt with you? All right. Whether he be a local resident or a stranger. All right. A brother is a brother. It says, and it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever. And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. All right. And we're going to get this word all, because we're about to, you might as well strap in, because we're about to go into a decent lesson. The Wadi Habashim Shah for, giving me this lesson. All right. So we're going to get this word first. All right. Which we went into all. All right. Martazai. All right. Martazai in the Hebrew, it says all, a boring instrument. Okay. And what we're going to do is want to grab this, Google punch this, and we'll bring this up for you. All right. It says all right. You see it all. A small pointed tool used for piercing holes, especially in leather. All right. And it no different from what we just read in the scriptures, being used to pierce through that ear of the servant who did not want to leave his master because life was so great for him. All right. Though it being his brother, and his brother let him free, all right, which was also generous of us. We didn't just, like the so-called white men did here in America, just keep us slaves forever. And eventually the law was abolished, but then they created other laws to continue to keep us down and oppressed. That's not what we did to one another, okay? We let them free. And if that servant, their brother, didn't want to leave, then that comes in play, the activity of the all, okay? But this is what I want you to really see. All right, all, you see this? It's a bunch of different, tools. All right. All. Okay. And we're also going to get to remember this, what you're looking at. OK, because that new all is going to be digitized. OK, that's Esau Edom coming with his CBDC and his microchip, but most specifically the microchip. OK. And that injector device, which may be way of some kind of hollowed out needle. OK. Which goes back to that Greek word karox. We're going to pull it all up, okay? Like I said, this is a beautiful lesson that the Spirit put on me, so we're going to get through it, all right? But yeah, this all here that was used for ancient times, let's back on up, all right, is going to be, in this time, is going to be used by Esau Edom, okay, to give you his so-called digital all right? So now you have the understanding of all and what the purpose was for, okay? So if a man didn't want to leave in ancient times, if he didn't want to leave his master, all right, he would use the all and bore him through his ear, all right, unto the door, and there you go, and you would be permanently under that household. All right, so we'll read this one more time. Verse 16 and 17 says, and it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee. Let's back up to so we can we're gonna grab all right, here we go. I'm going to grab verse 12 again. It says, and if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. All right. And we jump down to 16. It says, and it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee. All right. Because he's flourishing. All right. He's being nourished properly. All right. And he's enjoying life. All right. Even though he's your servant, he's enjoying his life, and he's appreciative of how he's come up in life because of his brother doing well with him. With even though he was a servant under him, he still dealt graciously with him. Verse 17 says, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever, and also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. Give me a second here, because let me see here. Yeah, I want to make sure I put it in do not disturb. All right, because I really want to get into this lesson. All right. Yeah, so, if you're new or if you're just coming across this video, this is very good edification. Buckle down, take some notes, follow along, whatever the case may be, because as to the to the faithful brothers and few sisters, this is pretty much speaking, just preaching to the choir, as they say. But those of you who are new, I'm gearing this towards you, or who may not understand, all right, gearing this towards you, okay? It says, then shalt thou take an awl, all right, and we just went through that, and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever, and also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise, all right? And this was that marking, okay? Excuse me. And so we're going to jump over to Exodus chapter 21, okay? This is verse 1 through 6, and it says, now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then, all right, reiterating what we just read, right? Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the door post. And his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And if you get this word all right, you go right back into it. You see what it says? The same thing. Awl, a boring instrument. Okay. There's a root word here. And so I guess we can check it out just to cover all bases. All right. All right. You see, it says to bore, pierce of what? Of the ear. Okay. And that was ancient time customs. Okay. And Esau is trying to switch it up. All right. In modern days, but we're going to get there. All right. Just be patient. Okay. Now we want to get this word bore as well. All right. Bore, it says ratazai in the Hebrew, and it says to bore, pierce also of the ear. You see? All right. So there we go. We read it one more time. It says, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And we just saw what that all looked like. Okay. Now,
the American people are living in a matrix. They don't understand the truth of how things are working in this country, And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. The very fact is that if you ask 100 people on the street, what kind of government is America supposed to be? 99% of them will tell you a democracy. America is supposed to be a democracy. But that's a lie. That's an illusion. The word democracy is not written into the Constitution at one time. It's not in the Bill of Rights. It's not in the Declaration of Independence. The Founding Fathers hated the idea of a democracy. They thought it was the worst form of government there is. And I agree with them. Because in a democracy, 51% of the people control 49% of the people. If you're part of the 49%, you're not free. America was founded as a constitutional republic. And in that constitutional republic that we have, 99% of the people can't take away the rights of 1%. You have your rights because you were born with them. You have God-given human rights that nobody can take away from you. The government, the majority, no matter who they are, I can't take away your rights. And that's what our founding fathers gave us. But the psychological operations that they do to us, they make us believe that we're a democracy and that majority rules, you see? And they want you to believe that. Because then they tell you this poll says this many want this and this many want that and this many want this, and it doesn't have anything to do with anything. And so what's happened is that because they've taught everybody that we're a democracy, which is not true, so then in 1913, they bring the Federal Reserve System into being, right? And now you have this Federal Reserve System, which then in 1913 got the right to create money for the government, when before that the government created its own money. Now the government, when it needed money, had to borrow it from this private bank called the Federal Reserve, which is a private bank owned by individuals, incorporated in Delaware. And so what happens is, now the government borrows money from them to fund the government. Then the government says, well, we have to pay these people interest. How are we going to pay them interest? Let's impose a tax on the labor of the American people, which never existed before, to pay the interest to the bankers. I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller, okay, who was one of the Rockefeller family, and he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me, introduced himself to me through an attorney, and we became friends. We started talking about things, and I learned an awful lot from Mr. Rockefeller. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the ultimate plan of the banking industry, what they wanted to accomplish. And the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks, and they're all part of the Communist Manifesto. You know, central banking is one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time we have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right? So right there you have two major planks of the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash.
Continuing from there, what we're going to do is we'll jump over here to I have to slide it down. All right, I hate when it does that. All right, here we go. Revelation chapter 13. Okay, I'm going to go down to verse 16 and 16 and 17. All right, and it reads, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, and this is very important. Read verse 17. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, going into that whole digital system and his image, and you know, being connected to the CBDC, which is only by way of their ultimate plan, which is the RFID microchip, and it stands for radio frequency identification. Okay, so let's go up, and in this verse 16 here, what we want to do is grab this word mark. Okay, and we're actually going to play this audio so you can hear what it says.
Strong's G 5480 Charagma. Charagma.
All right, Charagma. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this root word. All right, and we're going to grab this as well.
Strong's G 5482 Charax. Charax.
All right, Charax. Okay, now look what it says. It says a pale or stake, a palisade or rampant, pales between which earth, stones, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together. Now, if you, as a matter of fact, let's just do this. We'll grab this. Let's see if we can Google punch this in. All right, palisade. Okay, not the vehicle. We're looking for. See if we can find. There we go. You see, palisade. All right, you see all these pictures right here. This is what a palisade looks like. Okay. And next to one another, it starts to look like a fence, okay? And that's why I showed you that picture of the awl, okay? What an awl looks like. And the palisade is no different because that modern day version of the awl or of the palisade is going to be the tool or device that's used to inject the RFID microchip underneath that individual's skin. Okay, basically, like I mentioned before, some kind of hollowed out needle, because it said that the microchip is the size of the grain of a grain of rice. Okay, and so you know that's very, very small. Okay, and so you won't need a very large needle to do so, but you will need some kind of injector device similar to a needle. All right, that Charax or that awl. All right, for example. Okay, and this is why, let me back up from the vehicle. That's why I pull this up. Now let's go back to this other word, charagma. Okay, now check this out. It says a stamp or imprinted mark. It also says the mark branded upon horses, which is off from what the topic is. It says thin carved sculpture, graven work, also off from what the topic is. All right, but of idolatrous images. Okay, and these devils, that's what these devils want. They want you to serve them as God. Okay, according to 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 4. All right, and so here's the most important definition right here. All right, it says of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the anti-messiahs. And there are many what the scriptures say antichrist, but we don't, say Christ, all right? I'll just say Messiah, okay? But there are many anti-Hamashiachs or anti-Yahushais, anti-messiahs, whatever it is, because we know Serapis Christos, Jesus Christos, whatever you want to call him, all right? He's a false god and an idol, all right? But yeah, there are many anti-Hamashiachs or anti-messiahs, okay? Even now. And let's read this again. It says, of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the anti-messiahs, okay? Now, real quick, because what we're going to do is we're going to back up now, right? Go back to that verse, okay? It says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor. Okay, no matter your social status, if you're stupid, stinky rich, if you got maybe you're wealthy, maybe you're rich, maybe you're middle class, maybe you're low class, or maybe you're piss poor. It doesn't matter your social status when it comes to income or funds or money or in general. Okay. It says free and bond, free and bond. All right. Meaning whether you're out here in this illusion that you are free in this earth or whether you're in jail or in prison. OK, which it actually makes it easier for them to impose this on you if you are in the jail or the prison or maybe federal prison system, wherever the case may be. OK, this is covering all people, all. As a matter of fact, let's see what all says. Pas. Individually, each, every, any, all, the whole, everyone, all things, everything. Look, boom, collectively, all, meaning every living being on the face of this earth, okay? And he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, all right? To receive a mark in their right hand, all right? That RFID microchip, by way of the injector device, which is going to be that digital all in these modern days. Okay. You see how this lines up with scriptures? All right. And that's that mark. That RFID microchip is putting that thing inside of you. All right. And what you're doing is you're cutting yourself off from the Lord, and you're making Esau Edom to be your God on this earth. The Lord will cut you off and he will destroy you for that. All right. It says in there, if you see a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, because they also have other technology. All right. The Neuralink, the virtual reality and augmented reality technology, extended reality technology, all these things are all wrapped up into this verse. And you have to be, as the scriptures say, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. And he has a lot of gadgets and devices. And the most major one is the RFID microchip. And this is why we're going to constantly warn it to you until we beat it into your head, or until you ignore it to the point of destruction, which will be your own self-destruction, because you are warned. And that's the most important part, getting the blood off of our hands. But if you are sincere and a true and a faithful believer, this is a fair warning to you. Not the first, and it most definitely probably through the Spirit will not be the last, okay? But you have to hear these things and you have to understand these things. Most importantly, understand these things for yourself. Let every man be persuaded in his own mind, right? So let's finish this up. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right. Being implanted with their device. OK, the mandatory implementation of the RFID microchip, which stands for radio frequency identification microchip, which is connected to their system. All right. And the CBDC is a part of that, which stands for the Central Bank Digital Currency System. All these things go hand in hand, one with the other. But the ultimate goal is the RFID microchip, because that's how they gain ultimate control over all individuals of this earth and have full autonomy over all of your life. They want permanent, perpetual slaves, okay?
Give me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And all money will be in your chips. And all money will be in your chips. And all money will be in your chips.
now you heard him right. You heard it for yourself now. Mr. Russo, hold on, Mr. Russo. You got to be lying. You got to be lying to me, man. Somebody, you mean to tell me the devil, the so-called white man, the red man of the earth, the biblical Edomites, the devil, has told what the microchip is, but you have Israelite camps who are teaching that it is everything else except for what it is. That should raise a red flag, because last time I checked, it's June. Somebody, come on now. Why you always lying? Wake up, Israel. Wake up. You got to think for yourself. Be taught correctly and go into the scriptures for yourself. Let every man or woman be persuaded in your own mind, because your very life depends on it. This is serious. This is a serious matter. It's not just men talking, just saying that we're warning you. This is not a game. And sooner or later, these devils are going to come down on you with great wrath, like it says in Revelation 12:12 and Isaiah 59:19, coming in like a flood with all of their gets, their gadgets, and their devices. And it's all to funnel you into taking their RFID microchip. Wake up, okay?
All money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
Everything.
you sell.
Everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave. You become a serf.
All right, so this is the definition of a serf. Pretty sure you've heard this in school, you know, if you paid attention. And I'm not being funny because I didn't pay much attention in school, but, you know, sometimes. But serf, all right?
Serf.
Okay, it says an agricultural laborer bound under the feudal system to work on their lord's estates. All right. Look, you see what it says right here? Similar words: bondsman, slave, servant. All right. This is exactly what they want. It even says vassal right here. You see that? A holder of land by feudal tenure on conditions of homage and allegiance. Okay. But they ultimately want bondsmen. All right. Slaves, a person who stands surety for a bond. Slave, a person who is forced to work for and obey another and is considered to be their property. An enslaved person, okay? You ever wonder why you have what they call the Social Security card and, you know, so many other things, all right? This whole system has been built around you, okay? There is no escaping it. And I'm only talking about you Israelites, all right? Your only escape from this system, from this bondage, from this captivity, from under the hand of the devil, is through Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the only help, all right? He is the savior, the deliverer. And he's only the deliverer for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, who are the biblical Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, okay? It says they kidnap, and this is, I guess, an example. They kidnap entire towns and turn the inhabitants into slaves. What do you think they did to us, 70 AD? They did what? They sacked and kidnapped entire towns, as well as murdered, and they turned the inhabitants into what? Slaves, all right? Some of us went back to Rome to be gladiators, okay? And eventually, as time passed on, because we fled into Africa, we're not Africans, okay? We fled into Africa, and we were sold from a port there, all right? To be what? A person who is forced to work and obey another and is considered to be their property, an enslaved person. You see that? It's all just these definitions alone revert back to your history. Servant, a person who performs duties for others, especially a person employed in a house on domestic duties or as a personal attendant. All right, you had the big house, right? The slave plantation houses, which a lot of them still exist today. You just never know it used to be one of those masters slave plantation houses. All right, you'd be surprised. Okay. So what else we got here? I wanted to go down here. Let's see what we got down here. Latin origin, servus, slave. Old French, serf. All right, slave, same meaning. All right, late 15th century. And see, that's what it says. In a sense, slave, which is straightforward. Light it up for you. All right, slave. And this is what a serf is. And this is what they want you to be. Okay?
These people, that's their goal. That's their intentions. To these people, that's their goal. That's their intentions. And all money will be in your chips. And all money will be in your chips. The whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is to these people. That's their goal. That's their intentions.